Thank you, Mr. Chair. Gentlemen, I'm happy to have you here today and really excited about the things you've been able to accomplish. I'm going to summarize just sitting here for a few minutes, listening to everybody politicize what we've done. I'm just going to break it down as best as I can, and then I'm going to let you answer a couple questions. First of all, just since the short period of time that the Trump administration has taken over, we've handed over control of Ukraine's destiny to Europe, where it belongs. A conglomerate that has a $20 trillion economy versus a $2 trillion Russian economy, to actually take care of their own country in a very good way, their own continent. We've kept Iran, who has literally talked about raining down fire from heaven and talked about us being the great Satan, from becoming a nuclear power. We've reshaped the geopolitical space in the Persian Gulf. We've reestablished the Monroe Doctrine in the Western Hemisphere. We've basically executed two of the most amazing raids in history, almost flawlessly, that will be studied for a generation at least. We reduced senior administrative billets, thank you. We've defeated Iran with under $30 billion spent, with minimal civilian casualties compared to any other war. People forget that in World War II, in one night, we lost 100,000 civilians, totally innocent, in fire bombings. That's before we dropped the nuclear bombs. War is a horrible thing, but I think we've executed it as best as possible in a very hard and consequential environment. That's just to sum up a few things, not to mention the recruiting that went from dismal and really something that could have crippled our military to now a surplus just by a change in administration. That's pretty impressive for a short period of time. Thank you, and I commend you for your hardship, overcoming those hardships. A couple things that I wanted to get through. One thing is we talked about the Incentivized Savings Act, which is something I wanted to apply to all bureaucracies. But when I was in the military, as both an operational officer and a logistics officer for my squadrons and my jump places, we got to the end of the fiscal year. If we didn't spend it, what happens? We lose it, we get our budget shrink. Everybody knows that in the military. Everybody knows that in every bureaucracy in America. One of the things I came up with is, at the end of the fiscal year, if you don't spend it, you don't have anything. You know, we save 10% of our budget for emergencies like we're facing right now. If you don't spend it, instead of spending it, you actually can save half of it. 49% rolls over to the next year. 49% goes back to debt and deficit. 2% to reward the people for being good administrators of the money. I don't see any downside. This is the way that we reinvent government, the way we spend money. And I just thought, I wanted your opinion on something like that. I thought was thinking outside the box because I've seen waste, fraud, and abuse. We're trying to address that. This should be a bipartisan, bicameral approach to actually doing something right as we expand the budget, but also give us some wiggle room for putting money back and being good stewards of the people's money. What do you think about an idea like that?
I very much like an idea like that, which creates all the right kinds of incentives. And I would just add, in addition to that, which is the type of thing our department would support, the deals that we're cutting with these private sector companies on munitions ensures they build the plants, they build the assembly lines, which is exactly the right kind of incentive. If you spend on facilities, you're going to make sure you make money on those facilities and the munitions that you produce. There's ownership in that stake. There's the right incentive. Overturning the entire way the department does business. So I agree with that. We're pointing at the defense contractors, as the president has, and saying, you need to do your business differently. This is not a gravy train of the government. You need to be, you're beholden to us, actually. So I think the spirit of that is infused into everything we're doing at the department.
And I think it's right in line with what you're talking about, running it more like a business where we have accountability and we're pointing in the right direction. We do have a lot of old programs that we need to update. Mm-hmm. One of the things you talked about is a 5 to 7 year period of time of updating. I think almost year by year now, it's going to be how we're going to have to look at how we budget things and contract because the technologies are so dramatic, as General Caine pointed out. I know I'm running out of time real quickly, but I want to also revisit the fact that you are still invited down to University of North Georgia, one of the elite 8 schools. We're looking forward to PTing with you. Appreciate you guys being here today. God bless you, and God bless our military service members. With that, I yield.
Sir, I got to say, this guy over my left shoulder is a University of North Georgia graduate. He doesn't want me to tell you that, but he is.
The president would be very happy. The president of the university, he's great. President Shannon would be very happy to hear that. Thank you.
Support journalism you trust. Support PBS News. Donate now, or even better, start a monthly contribution today.